wanted to make sure that when our actors got on these horses, that it looked authentic. So we had all our actors go through boot camp.
Cowboy Boot Camp was something we did in the beginning of the movie where they basically just sequestered all the actors with a bunch of cowboys.
Go ahead and whenever you want to, undally.
The boot camp was actually Gore's idea, which was a great idea because I want to cover everything. I want them to learn how to rope, ride, shoot guns. We normally train them anyways, but we kind of combined everything into one camp.
Shut
You know, you have a lot of scenes where you have to kind of understand how to tighten a saddle and to, you know, load a weapon and unload a weapon, how to get on and off a horse, how to ride a horse safely. These are not things that we do every day. So, you know, you have to go to boot camp.
Everything that you would know back then, everything that would be period correct and something you'd have to learn for your own survival, we get to do it for fun.
Oh, God.
Now it's twisted around. Yeah.
Tail through the loop.
Yeah. No.
Start again, do it again. This is us all learning to be cowboys and cowgirls.
Ready?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I mean, I don't have to do much of it in the film, but so it's a good excuse, though, to learn, basically. Okay.
Swing it around. Yeah.
It's great fun. I'm very good at lassoing, I have to say.
There!
Driving wagons, which I'm equally good at. I said to Gore, look, I'm pretty good at it, so let's get a scene in.
Ah!
There are 6 white horses. Leroy happens to be one of them. Don't tell him, but he's not my favorite.
What?
What?
What we're trying to do here is get the actors comfortable with their horses. Pretty much just make sure everything's safe.
We'll have you looking just like the Lone Ranger here in a minute.
Ooh. You really hit the brakes. Oh, let me try it again. I'd ridden horses before, and I'd been on horses before, but I wasn't comfy. Like, I still kind of was like, this thing thinks for itself, and that makes me a little nervous. What is it gonna do if it sees a bunny? Like, I don't know. But now it's like, I got comfortable. Like, I didn't have a choice.
The cowboys were amazing. The wranglers were just the best of the best, and they teach you how to, you know, properly position yourself and you know, get your heels down and look like you know what you're doing.
Some have had some experience. Ruth has ridden English before, which is a big advantage.
I've ridden a few horses in my life, but I've also fallen off a few horses, and so this is quite good to learn from scratch and start again.
You know, this is my first day on a horse. Right now, I'm just trying to learn how to sit on a horse. Working on this, working hard. The horse is sweating, I know, it's tough.
Good job, buddy.
Daddy, thank you again, man.
I like the horses. I think.
Between you and me, I'm scared. I'm so scared.
You guys see that?
Yeah.
Okay. That's one of the most important things we can teach them is how to stop on a camera mark.
Oh, it's beautiful out today.
Might it be?
Whoa. Nah, we're a bit short. There we go.
No, you're overshot it. He's perfect.
Damn it. I'm in reverse real quick. There we go.
One more,
Come on.
one more. Right there.
Boom, shotgun.
If they can't stop on a camera mark, they can't get on film.
I was like, do we really need to be riding horses this much? And then I think it was our first day, all the Cavendish gang were on this cliff. Well, the stunt guys were there, and well, what's going to happen is you guys are going to gallop up to the edge of this ravine, and then the camera's going to be on a crane down there. It's going to come right up on you, and James is going to end up with a big close-up on you, and then you're going to say your line, okay? And I was like, ha, 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 ha. Okay. Cowboy Boot Camp suddenly seemed like a month wasn't enough.
Behind you.
We've been working on a lot of gun control, a lot of creating sort of a progression of the Lone Ranger's gunplay, how comfortable he is with a gun in the beginning, how he shoots, how he stands to, the end when he's quicker and, he's found himself a little bit more.
Just only being started, what, 3 days so far?
3 days. I would say I'm still in the awkward stage.
Need some more training?
Harry Lou is our armor, and he's teaching them how to handle a gun safely. And even though they are shooting blanks, it's still a dangerous piece of equipment that they're working with. And we have to make sure that they know every bit of the safety and how to handle it and look correct doing it.
Ease it forward. Yep. 1, 2, that's it.
The outlaws as well as the Rangers, we want them to be comfortable enough with their weapons so that they look like they were used to handling these guns every day. So once we come out and let the hammer down, once we can do that and do it safely, then we can add a little flourish.
So you see it, you pull, you cock, you fire, you assess. Yeah, he's down. I can put this away.
Ah, Harry, you're the best.
No.
Harry.
No,
You.
I couldn't ask for better cast. They're eager to learn, and they come in with lots of ideas, and we incorporate into their actions.
There you go.
That one will do that.
Nice, yeah.
You practice and you practice and you practice, and all of a sudden it's like, Gore would say, this would probably be a good time. You pull the gun on him right there, and I'm like, fantastic, I get to pull the gun, and you're ready. There was a move that I had where I took the gun out and flipped it up this way, where the barrel comes up and over, and like that.
Anybody else want to negotiate? You?
More than anything else that I shot in this film, I'm like, I think I went to Gore right after, and I said, did you get that? Did you see that?
I do have a lot of fun with the gunslinging thing. I just keep my guns on during the day, just practice, have fun with it. It's great to just get to carry around 6-shooters all day, You gotta follow it, stay with it. Cops are like, hey, nice gun, and I'm like, oh, thank you. Yeah, it's too much fun. It's like every kid's dream.
As kids, we played cowboys and Indians. Never once did I want to be the cowboy.
Army did a lot of his own stunts, which scared the heck out of me. But by the end of the show, he could ride as good, if not better, than a lot of our stuntmen, because he spent so much time learning how to ride.
Hi-ho, Silver, away! Yeah!
I get to actually rear the horse, and I can say, I wouldn't be able to do anything like that if it wasn't for Cowboy Boot Camp. I personally am a guy who loves road trips. I would rather drive somewhere than fly. We always take the scenic route, which is great. It adds an hour and a half to whatever time you're gonna see, but you stop at these vistas.
This is amazing. Take a look around this place.
We've kind of been all over the American Southwest. It's been fantastic. On top of getting to work on a movie that I love, so it's it's a win-win. Westerns are one of the pure examples of American storytelling. It's kind of our genre. This is very much still the Wild West. That's kind of the atmosphere once you get out of the big cities. You can get into the West very quickly, where it's you have to survive, you have to work at it. It's hard, but it's beautiful.
This is historic Comanche country. Our ancestors lived here for many years. You all are here on our homeland, and we welcome you in coming together. So you stay centered in this ground, this land of ours. And we look forward to working with you. Kuinana, Buhaka.
started in New Mexico, outside of Albuquerque, in a little town called Rio Puerco, which was just expansive, wide open fields as far as you could see. Man, I've never seen better dust storms in my whole life. And every now and then, when you happen to pull your eyes away from the set or the grips or the electricians or whatever, you're just surrounded by, I mean, there's snow-capped mountains over there. I mean, you can't see them now because of the sand, but it's gorgeous out here. You go home and you have grit in your mouth for like days. Like everything you eat has just a bit more texture to it.
Oh man, it's one of our better days. We love it, you know. This is just part of what you got to put up with sometimes. But the good stuff is all around us.
Went to Monument Valley, Arizona, pretty much one of the most picturesque places I've ever seen. I would just kickstart my dirt bike and just take off. Oh, it was incredible.
Welcome to the Navajo Nation.
Thank you so
Do
much.
a good job. All right, all right.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, this is beautiful. Thank you both. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
That's the proper one.
This is one of the Navajo Nation wonder of the land that we have here. It's so sacred. Every mountain or every basin that you see here has a history to it. This is one of the areas where you won't find paved roads, power lines. I know in the past, John Wayne fell in love with this Monument Valley. It's a wonderful place for making movies.
We were staying on a family's basically like grazing rights land, which is a huge portion of protected natural land that had been with this family for 180 years. So while we were out there, I was like, you know what? I don't want to stay in a hotel. Like I want to camp out here. And I was sitting out there just like throwing wood on the fire, just hanging out, camping. And the owners of the land came up and they were like, tomorrow night, we're gonna come out, you're gonna build us a fire, and we're gonna make you traditional Navajo food right on your fire. And I was like, that is awesome, great. They ended up coming over and we had like a great night. We just sat out and looked at the stars, and it was really like just an incredible experience. I would say the special thing about Chinle was the fact that our commute to base camp was a 45-minute drive up a river. It's such a contained, small space with so much historical value that nobody was allowed up there without an actual guide with them at all times.
This is Canyon de Chelly. The Navajo people called the canyon Sayit, which means within the rock walls. Everything around us is considered alive. So as you approach the canyon, out in the flat, Mother Earth is holding her hand out like this, and she's saying, welcome, come in.
Well, it's a prehistoric site. People have been here since 3000 to 4000 BC. And they have artifacts from 300 AD and 400 AD, you can see on the walls. So it's pretty spectacular here.
They would show you, oh, this is where the Anasazi built their homes into the sides of the mountains. It was incredible.
It speaks to me, this place. It speaks to me a lot of ghosts here, you know, you can feel it.
Creede, Colorado. Oh my God, that place was perfect. There, you'd wake up in the morning before work and you go fly fishing, you know, or you just sit in the river. I mean, it was just green and cool. It was so lush.
Creede is situated about 30 miles from the headwaters of the Rio Grande River. Sometime in the 1880s, 1890s, silver was discovered up here by Nicholas Creede, the namesake, basically up the canyon behind us there. And for 2 or 3 years, this town was one of those rip-roaring Old West towns.
It's authentic. I mean, you want to shoot something that's in the real place. They still mine around here. Locals are wonderful. It's just a beautiful part of Colorado.
I think it was for the first week we were shooting in Creede, we were doing nights. It'd be 75, 80 degrees during the day, and then you go to work just as the sun was starting to set, and it would drop to 19 degrees, and you're just like, where did this come from? My God!
It's freezing out. Creede is cold.
Rolling. I remember the first day, they were like, hey, if you want to put any layers or anything like that, I was like, no, I'm just going to wear my costume, like I'm going to try to stick to it and all that. It was the scene where I was on the railway cart, blindfolded, about to be shot by the firing squad, and I was just standing about 15 feet over water on a little railway, just like trying to get the camera not to see me shivering. The next day, I was like, Scotty, whatever pairs of Under Armour you have, give them to me. And I think I had 3 layers of Under Armour on, like, for the rest of that week. This here behind me is the Vaya Caldera, which actually happens to be the crater of an extinct volcano. Hence the lush green sort of coverage as opposed to the arid desert. A lot of minerals, I guess. I mean, look, there's grass as opposed to, you know, rock. So yeah, it's nice.
We're on the set of the Comanche Village. Although we Comanche did not historically set up villages in a forest, we were out on the open plains, but the format for the village, the construction of the teepees, is something we've worked months on to get as historically accurate as possible. And the production was sensitive enough to want to get that right.
Action.
Please, this is a mistake. There doesn't need to be a war.
Makes no difference. We are already ghost. Ah!
Pretty, huh? Nice New Mexico nights.
This is fantastic. It's like a day on the river. Currently, we are just outside Moab, Utah. I mean, you can tell by how red and bluffy everything is. While we've been here, we've, ridden horses, we've, played in the river, we've gone on hikes, we've gone cliff jumping, like all that stuff. I mean, you can do anything here, so I think you get into that adventure spirit.
I think the place is pretty spectacular. I mean, where else are we gonna get? We need a big river, we need cliffs. Come to Moab.
Ready, and action!
It's pretty damn high.
All right, this is the Lone Ranger 2012 Spirit platform. You know, I gotta say, it doesn't feel so bad. You get used to it. I mean, it's still, there's no mincing words, it's high.
Gore's picked these really unbelievable parts of the American West to film in. It's all in camera and it's real. It's not visual effects.
I was harnessed and I had a pick point in my back, right at the small of my back. And they were like, just walk forward and kind of lean against it. And I mean, everything in my body was screaming, get down, get down, get down. And it was pretty intense.
How is it up there, buddy? You're crazy.
Dude, it's a little tingly, I'm not gonna lie. It's pretty high up there.
Dude, it's
You
crazy.
should put on a harness.
I ain't going up there.
It's probably smart.
I am not going.
You know, this road trip has gone on for so many months. It feels like we've been on the road pretty much since the end of January. It was hard, but it was definitely worth it. I've seen sort of every best part of the American Southwest. It's really just an incredible experience.
Our story takes place right after the Civil War.
In the backdrop of the transcontinental railroads.
Can you imagine building a railroad back in the mid-1800s? It's quite a feat.
This pivotal moment in American history that changed everything, really gave birth to the modern country. It was like a massive undertaking. It was done at a time when there was nothing on the horizon.
We wanted to recreate that to make sure that it looked authentic.
We couldn't just get on any train track we wanted. Have to have a track that we can control and no other trains are going to be on it.
This is sort of making movies the way they used to make movies. They built 5 miles of railroad track in the middle of the desert.
This is certified Class 2 track, which is very good track. We'll be on it 6-7 weeks. But what's amazing is that we're building everything from scratch. We've hauled in every sticker rail, every tie. There's tens of thousands of pieces that it takes to put this together.
Gore came up with the request to do it an oval pattern, which allows you to have east-west lines, north-south lines, everything that we needed.
Out of 6 railroad locations, 5 of them we have to build, and this is the biggest one.
The background extras, they've all been through railroad boot camp, where they were trained how to build a railroad. Some of them actually are railroad workers.
Well, they figured since we were experienced in railroad, that they would use us as extras for swinging, spike driving, general talent.
They're the ones who did the hard work out here to make this come together. That gives us a little bit more extra pride to be able to be out here and working in the movie itself.
Had a lot of stunt guys in there that were crossing in front of a real locomotive. It was coming through there, and I had guys that were literally feet in front of that, jumping out of the way.
You know, the grill at the front of the Colby train, you know, had to feel like teeth, and when it crashes and breaks, we want to think of like a charging buffalo just getting knocked down and digging into the dirt. You know, sweaty machines with one purpose in mind.
These trains need to be going at speeds of 30, 40 miles an hour, so we're having to build them from scratch.
This is the actual workings of a real train that we manufactured here at our shop. We had all the wheels cast. We had all the axles pressed onto the wheels, just like they did in 1860. This is what we call John's train, which is from the beginning of the movie. Then that train gets converted into the Constitution. And then this is the Jupiter, which is a smaller train.
The Jupiter is a wood burner. It's much more passenger-oriented. The Constitution is a coal burner. It's very dirty, and it's black and silver and sinister and villainous.
This thing is a beast, you know, it's just tearing its way through the country.
Gore was always saying, I want these trains to be big and sweaty and menacing and to have steam coming out of them and smoke and oil dripping and just look like a threat.
It's a character. You know, these trains became characters.
Polishing my train.
You have real physical trains to do your stunts on, to do your scenes on, to stand in front of, do your performances with.
That's a nice suit. We have to stop the train! No time! Must jump!
We could take the trains out there and, you know, do all our stuff with them.
There's something about riding on top of a train that, as an actor, you're thinking, oh boy, really?
It's hard to keep your composure and stay in character when you're thinking, I'm gonna fall off this thing, you know.
You get used to the absurdity, really.
I'll be the dude trying to jump off the side of it while shackled to another dude.
You know, you get a different performance when you put actors on top of a train at 40 miles an hour.
You capture that initial moment, you know.
I just didn't want it to be artificial.
Now we're gonna do this while it's moving, right? Good.
We couldn't build track everywhere we wanted to build track, and we certainly didn't have access to all of these tracks that we wanted. So we created this sort of road rig unit, which was basically train cars on a flatbed truck, and we would drive them through these great locations, and we put our actors on the roof.
You're standing on top of a semi-truck, moving down the old country highways and stuff.
Sometimes we had two semis, tractor trailers with, you know, two cars each, sort of racing against each other, and then we'd have our camera car as well.
Driving up and down through the mountains, through the forest, just incredible scenery, doing all of these gunfights and, you know, live action on the trains as they're sort of careening around these corners. You get the real rush of the wind coming in through the windows, and you get tree branches hitting the side of the train, and people are bouncing and rattling all over the place, and it's alive and electric, and it's just something that you just can't create on a soundstage.
Action! 3, 2, 1, go!
Well, you got any good stuff?
Rig!
Once you have the story of trains, you're going to have a great train chase. And there's a lot of great train chases that have been filmed before, so you kick it up a notch.
What Gore wanted to do was kind of double down on that and basically do the greatest train chase of all time.
It's the first time we see both the Jupiter and the Constitution together for the first time. We're not doing an historical reenactment, but we're sort of playing on the historical event of the Promontory Summit, the Golden Spike Ceremony of 1869. And it was the joining of the rails unifying the country. So it's from here that we start the big finale sequence.
There are army people jumping off of trains onto the ground and landing on bags.
Two trains simultaneously sort of chasing and racing each other. I'm upside down off a train for a while.
You know, her head's down here next to that wheel. They got the camera up here shooting over the wheel to her, so it's real perilous looking.
Get me sort of spinning, falling off, being caught by two burly men. So I've done loads of it myself, which has been really exciting. I've loved it.
Cavendish!
Standing on top of
a moving train. Whew. Yeah, that takes your breath away. I was a little scared.
Drop down, Bill, we're slowing.
It was incredible what Gore pulled off. I mean, he had Johnny running on top of the train, and I'm shooting through the ceiling, and he's dancing away. And Gore said, be like the chili pepper in the soup.
I did approach Tonto in a weird way as a kind of silent film character.
Feel like boom, boom. And then hot foot, hot foot.
You do think that the people who actually did drive these trains across this country in temperatures of 1,000 degrees centigrade, which is what it is, what people they must have been. But anyway, I'm just an actor, so it's easy for me.
Just waiting for some sun. Ready and action! Reset, Bobby.
Certainly we had to do some stuff in the computer. Just there's things that we've done that just aren't safe. You know, we are blowing up massive bridges and driving trains off bridges and things like that. So there is a certain amount of computer-generated work. It's just, you know, we're trying to have a shell game here where you kind of can't quite tell where it is.
This is for the third act, and it's called the T-bone sequence. We've got a boxcar that's gone off the rails and has slid into some rocks and is sitting parallel to the track. And there's another train going to be coming down the track and smashing right through the boxcar. So the camera was following the boxcar coming in profile and landing. And then right at the very top of the move is when we're going to have the other train car bust through it and explode.
Look at that barrel. Look at that barrel. That was awesome.
So when you see the shot, it's going to have a nice big camera move on it and seamlessly bust into, you know, or have the other car busting through this one.
All the sequences of derailing and train-to-train sequences and switching tracks and building all these things from scratch. It's the biggest Western ever made.
To ride a horse across the top of a train, or through a train, or swing in between trains, we had to have our own train. We have very big, amazing stunts in this.
The fact that we get to work with these unbelievable craftsmen who made sure that it looked authentic.
And everybody kind of feels it, you know. Everybody's there when it happens, and it's beautiful. Everybody just kind of goes, wow, that's what we're here for.
I want to show you something. From the time of Alexander the Great. Damn it! No man could travel faster than the horse that carried him.
Next stop, Des Moines.
Not anymore. Imagine time and space under the mastery of man.
Oh, okay, come.
So why would...
Now get in there, or I put a hole in you, and I might even shoot myself, because the gun's all tangled in my fingers.
Cutting that.
Want to touch?
Ivory, not
What?
if you have your hand. Sorry, this.
You hold it.
Take Mrs. Thingy to the thingy.
Him. I love you. You have traveled. You have traveled far. No. We are going out of shot. Come. Okay, don't come. See if I care.
Hamburger.
What the hell's he talking about?
He's dead.
Sorry.
You
Sorry.
missed.
I smell funny. Armpit. Armpit.
Oh, yes.
The notorious outlaw and Indian killer, Butch Cassidy.
It's so clear she's into me. I know.
Should we hold hands for this?
Yeah.
Okay, who turned out the lights?
Bird angry! Nailed it!
He does have a point, you know. You lost your horse in the locust storm. Remember?
Nature was out of balance.
So how'd you get to Willow Creek?
Great warriors must adapt. Great warriors must adapt.